All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing? Very good. Just checking a few things, making sure that we are live streaming here. So let me just check everything, make sure that we are up and running, and then we will get this show on the road. Let's do this real quick. Let's do this and let's make sure that all right, let's do this real quick. As you can hear, just checking the scene, make sure that everything is working. Sound is working. Very, very good, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Warren Nelson. I am also known as the professor or your instructor, and I have been chosen to teach real estate, ladies and gentlemen. I got 30 years of experience. I have my own brokerage. I own my own schools, and I'm certainly in a position to be able to educate you on the things that you can and cannot do in the real estate arena. And what I need you to understand, ladies and gentlemen, is that we got companies that are laying off, closing their doors, going out of a business, ladies and gentlemen. David's Bridal, 9,000 employees going to be laid off. Lyft, 1,200 employees. Walmart, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to be laying off 2,000 employees. We have Amazon. They're going to be laying off 18,000 employees, ladies and gentlemen. We have Tyson Food, we have Meta, we have Johnson and Johnson, General Motors, as I said, Walmart, closing shops, Disney closing all of their commercial locations. They're going to be laying off 7,000 employees. eBay, 500 employees, ladies and gentlemen. FedEx going to be laying off 12,000 employees and have already started laying them off. Goldman Sachs, HubSpot, Best Buys. I can keep on going, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, Amazon, 10,000 employees so far and kicking. Spotify, Alphabet. I can keep on going, ladies and gentlemen. Here's what you need to know. You can't have your eggs all in one basket. You can't be relying on companies anymore, ladies and gentlemen. Bud, you don't think Bud's going to be laying off a lot pretty soon? DoorDash, you name it. I can keep going down the list, ladies and gentlemen. Cisco, Foxconn, Twitter. All right, we already know about Twitter. But again, ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand Estee Lauder, Starbucks, they're closing all kinds of locations. I think Estee Lauder is going to be closing almost all of theirs. Starbucks closing that, what did they say? 2,000 of their locations closed. David Bridal's going to be filing for bankruptcy, closing their location. I don't know how many malls can survive what's going to be happening in the commercial arena in this next year or even longer, ladies and gentlemen. Look what's going to be happening on May 1st with credit scores and who's going to be punished and who's going to be rewarded. It's going to get crazy, ladies and gentlemen. But here's what you need to know. You got to have a backup system. You better have something for you and your family. You better have some kind of fallback system when companies that you have put 17 years of your life into, just an example of years, and they're not there anymore. You're laid off because of the economy. And so understand the one thing that has remained constant through it all, including the pandemic, the real estate. When everybody was shut down and you could not work during the pandemic, real estate was still considered essential, which means we didn't have any downtime. As a matter of fact, the real estate market flourished during the pandemic. And the real estate market in the residential arena will continue to flourish no matter what the economy does. I've been doing this, ladies and gentlemen, for so long. I mean, I started out when interest rates were 18 to 22% for a mortgage, 18 to 22%. And you might not even fathom what an 18% mortgage or a 22% mortgage looks like or feels like. But don't think that we're going to be comfortable in 5 and 6 and 7% mortgages forever, ladies and gentlemen, because it is an ebb and flow. The tide comes in, the tide goes out. The tide comes in, the tide goes out. And that's the way our economy has always done. All right. If you're old enough to remember the 70s and what we went through during the 70s and the 80s, what you're really seeing is history repeating itself. Because what you need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, is that even though our 18 and 19 and 20-year-olds today are 18, 19, and 20, well, during the 70s, they were 18, 19, and 20 then, during the 60s, during the 50s, during the 80s, during the 90s. And so don't think that our children who are children now will not grow up and have another different society to deal with, ladies and gentlemen. So we used to have what was called the hippies back in the 70s, the love child, and they were going to be the doom of the world. Then what we had was the millennials. Now we have the Generation Z, and it's always the end of the world, but it never actually happens, ladies and gentlemen. It's always going towards communism and socialism, but it really never actually happens because it's only good on paper. It only works good on paper, but in reality, it doesn't work. And politicians today or like bad parents. Because what most parents don't realize is when they try to push their child into something, they rebel. They naturally kind of rebel. They don't want to do what their parents did. And this is why when you start a business and you think you're going to give this business and hand this business down to your children, it really doesn't work that way. You got to use a lot of reverse psychology. And it seems like politicians, doesn't matter which side they are on, have never learned the bad parenting technique that doesn't work. And every time you try to push or direct somebody to do something, all you're really going to do is cause them to rebel and not want to do that. And seems like our society just never really kind of learns its lesson, no matter how many societies we've had. You can go back to Egyptian, Mayan times and understand that's really not the beginning of time. There was civilization. As a matter of fact, you know what's funny? We consider ourselves an advanced society. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I have you know, we're actually prehistoric. There were societies that were completely wiped out before the Mayans, before the Egyptians, that had a much more advanced technology than we have today. But since we really don't understand our history, and since history is constantly being rewritten by the victors or those who want to kind of control, most of us don't understand. You take the pyramids. Most do not understand what the pyramids were. And they think the pyramids date back to Egyptians. As a matter of fact, the Egyptians found it. The Mayans found the pyramids. That was left over from the civilization that was destroyed before that, thousands of years. So the pyramid is one of the few things that are left over. And here's the irony of ironies right now, ladies and gentlemen, because it's really still about the money. If we try to go all electric, what the pyramids are telling us is that we can absolutely have free electricity. The earth and the magnetic force of the earth generates the positive and the negative currents that we need. We can have all the electricity, all the free electricity that we want, but there's always some kind of glamour. It was the Rockefellers back in the day that stopped Nikola Tesla from giving us the free electricity that he understood the pyramids were designed to do. All right, because it always comes down to money. ladies and gentlemen. And what is our electric grid all about today? It's money, carbon credits, and so forth. But the irony of irony is the pyramids talk about the free electricity that you can currently have. We wouldn't need no gas, no coal, no nuclear, no nothing if we just understood how the pyramids work and how they produce electricity way back when we think we are the advanced society. We're very primitive compared to what society was before the floods. And again, I'm not going to get into biblical times because your mentality of history probably can go back to the Genesis of the Bible or Egyptian or Roman times, but none of that would explain the pyramids and what the pyramids were actually designed to do. But somebody like Nikola Tesla and others understand that the pyramids is free electricity. The whole world could be generated by the electricity if you understood the pyramids and the history. So that is the irony of things, ladies and gentlemen, that we believe that we are the civilized society and that we understand history as it's written. We really don't. But here's what you do understand. You understand today and how your life is being affected right now, today. And we don't know what tomorrow will bring. And we really shouldn't live in the past because we are learning from those mistakes. We made mistakes in the past as we were coming. What we do know is today, how we live today. And we might not be satisfied with the income or our current situation right now. We would like to have better. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. We don't want to be at the mercy of somebody else, like a job, like the government, something that we can't control. And real estate, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what, has always flourished and is a necessity. Two things that people will always need: food and shelter. No matter what. Those will be the two things that we will need. And so you got a product that you might have a passion for, a love for, and why not do something that you actually want to do? Why not do something where you are in control? You are your own boss, and what you are doing is helping others to achieve the American dream. It's never going to go out of style, ladies and gentlemen. The world doesn't come to an end. We have many people who are turning 18 years old today. Happy birthday to all those who are turning 18 and 19 and 20. And those are future homeowners. They're going to want to stop renting and buy. And if you understand the United States, ladies and gentlemen, there are many states out there where $1,300 and $1,400 a month will buy you a nice property. The average price, Florida, take Florida. You might think, oh, you can't touch a property in Florida for under $500, $600, $700. No, the average price in Florida is around $358,000. All right. I can go state after state after state and tell you that most of the states are extremely affordable. Extremely affordable, nice living, not populated or overpopulated. We have so much available land, so much available real estate that only really in badly managed cities, no matter what the political aisle is, right or left or right, it doesn't matter. What we basically have is badly managed cities, and if you live in the cities, you might think, well, doesn't get any better than this. Well, it's just a glimpse, all right? It's just a glimpse of the real world, ladies and gentlemen. You travel from state to state, there is so much real estate available, so much land available, and a very little population. You know, if you go to New York, that is a highest density populated state and city. But if you go to Tennessee, if you go to the Carolinas, even if you go to Florida, ladies and gentlemen, you will see that the population is not overcrowded. there's plenty of breathing room, plenty of room expansion, and houses are still very, very affordable. So keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that you might not know the whole picture. But let's take Pennsylvania. We got Pittsburgh, we got Harrisburg, we got Philadelphia. Those are our heavily populated areas. But Pennsylvania is a very big state. We're only talking 3 locations: Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, Philadelphia. They are very small. Philadelphia is not that big, ladies and gentlemen. Philadelphia is very, very small compared to Bucks County and Montgomery County. And so understand, ladies and gentlemen, that real estate has so much opportunity for you. There is so much advancement, so much available, and life could be so much easier for you if you understood that you don't have to be at the mercy of an employer or government, because you do have your own life. You do have the availability to make life better. I always like to say, and I've been doing this for a long time, ladies and gentlemen, once you have a real estate license, you should never be broke. You should never be unemployed. Never again will you have to worry about being laid off, being fired, being told what you can and can't do, what medication you can and can't take, what religion you can and cannot experience. No, you'll never be at the mercy of somebody else, ladies and gentlemen, once you have a real estate license. You have a ticket to ride. You can control your destiny. You can control your life, and you will be doing a better providence for your family when you don't have all your eggs in one basket. So this is what I like to talk about. I have been selected by many to be the voice of real estate education. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honorable position. I'm very, very happy about it. But I learned how to pay it forward by giving you everything that I have, everything that I achieved, everything that I've learned, by giving it to you and teaching you how to represent others. Your world is your oyster, ladies and gentlemen. All you got to do is the right thing. All you got to do is comply by the rules and the regulations, which are there to protect the public from us, the real estate agent. So the licensing law, the Real Estate Commission has put together rules and regulations to protect the public, to make sure that we're not becoming slim shady and we're not trying to funnel money to ourselves by trying to represent ourselves and not our clients. And so that's where the real estate market still is very well managed. And that's where most companies that are failing today have lost. They've lost management. Doesn't matter. I can tell you, it doesn't matter if it's a city. It doesn't matter if it's a corporation. Doesn't matter if it's a family. If it's unsuccessful, if it fails, it will always be because of management. Somehow or another, bad parenting, bad government, bad management, bad oversight. And it's a problem, ladies and gentlemen, especially with the school system not giving us the education. I can't tell you how many schools have failed everybody in math. I can't tell you how many people they're afraid. I mentioned math, and the very first thing that mentions in your brain is negative. Oh, I'm not good at math. I kind of suck at math. I don't do good at math. You know what? When it comes to our money, I'll bet you're good at math. See, here's the irony of ironies, all right? You might say you're not good at math, but when it comes to your money, ladies and gentlemen, you're a whiz at math, aren't you? And so you have to understand that it comes to this little thing up here and the way that you think. And we are designed to think lower of ourselves. We are designed to think right now that we are not good at this. We're going to fail. We're not going to succeed. It's not going to work. You can't do that. This is what we usually hear, ladies and gentlemen. And so to be successful, you need to know how to manage. And it's an art. It has to be taught. It's not natural. And this is where myself and my school, if you read my reviews, will shine, because not only do I prep you to pass the exam, ladies and gentlemen, but I go way further than that. I teach you how to run a business. I teach you why you procrastinate. I teach you how to memorize things. We got short-term memory and long-term memory. And I teach you how to develop certain skills, including math. Math is easy. Math is very easy once you learn the 3 variables. And so once you start learning little things in my class, it will advance you so much further than just real estate, ladies and gentlemen. And so you'll see, read my reviews, and you'll see why students come back to my class over and over again, even after they pass their exam. A lot of them come to work with my brokerage because I have my elementary school, which I call the class, the 75 hours. Then I have the college, where after you pass the state exam, you're welcome to come to my brokerage. There are many out there, but you're welcome to come to my brokerage, and I'm designed to teach. I'm designed to teach you now in the field, on the job, how to run a business, how to work with the client, how to negotiate, how to do the contracts in the field, on the job, right there, running a business. So there is where I somehow or another been given a gift, even though I didn't know it. I'm just fairly good at explaining things in a way that people seem to understand. They can comprehend what I'm saying. And I seem to somehow or another just put it into a way that you can actually see it in your mind, and you can memorize it easily, and you can remember the way I teach, the things I say. Many of my students said they hear my voice when they take the state exam, and what we talked about in the class and what I said. And so these are the lasting impressions that I'll leave upon you in my class. And it's what makes me so proud of the gift that I was given, to be able to pay it forward, to be able to teach you not only how to do the fundamentals and the principle of real estate, but how to run a business, how to manage your life after this class. And so this is what I do. Now, ladies and gentlemen, some of you are smart enough to be here right now in my class. And what I'm doing now is always a work of art. I'm now just using my YouTube channel. Even though I'm live streaming on many different outlets, I really just now, to make life easy, I just give out my YouTube channel link to bring you into my live streaming class. I used to give out all these other links, but let's just keep it simple. That's the way it should be. Do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen, comment. Make a comment. You just subscribe, I like that if you want, but you understand that this video is not about selling anything. It's not about affiliates. You won't see any affiliates or any sales or anything like that. I designed this live streaming class for those who are looking to sign up with a school, to get their real estate license. So the only time that you'll probably really come to see me is before you decide to make a move. Am I the right instructor for you? Is this the right move for you? So the comments sometimes are the only thing that I have to respond to. And because you probably won't come back to my free class, because you either made your decision that I am right for you or I'm not right for you. But I only offer this as another part of your ability to do more research before you actually make a decision. And so that's what I do. And so that's why this free class is. But I'm also going to be making a special announcement in this free class. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you're willing to invest in yourself, I'll be willing to invest in you as well. Now, I tell you that my class is $598, $299 for the first class, $299 for the second class. But if you read my reviews and you talk to my students, you'll see that hardly any of them really pay $598. All right? Because in my class, I do lots of things. I'm going to tell you right now, just because you're in my live streaming class right now, then you're going to know about it because nobody else will probably know about it. But maybe I'll market it, do it. But right off the bat, $50 off. So the first $299 is now $249. All right. And in my class, we'll take another $50 off the second portion. So there's $100 right off of the $598 right there. Plus, we do some other things, ladies and gentlemen. So this is not really a get rich quick business by any stretch of the imagination. This is more a labor of love. And I do love it. I do. I love it because I'm able to help in many, many ways. And that's something profoundly special for me that I never really was seeking. As I seeked out all my years, wealth, money, materialistic things, selfishness, that was me. From my 20s to my 40s, ladies and gentlemen, I could care less about anybody else. I could care less about anybody else. It was always about me, 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 me. And I didn't want nobody to know my secrets. I didn't want nobody to know what I was doing. And I always thought I was better than everybody else. But something happens in life every now and then, ladies and gentlemen, that may make you take a different journey. Sometimes you just achieved everything that you needed to achieve. Therefore, what more do you need to accomplish? So you can either sit back and relax and do nothing, or maybe charitable, philanthropy, and so forth. And that's what you see sometimes with a lot of people who have made a lot of money. They become philanthropists and they donate to different societies and they give back one way or another. Somehow or another, don't ask me how, but I've been blessed with the ability to articulate well, demonstrate well, and teach well. Don't ask me how. I've never really planned to be an instructor. I never really planned on being unselfish. It just kind of happened along my journey in life. And now that I'm past those ages, ladies and gentlemen, going into my 60s now, and well, maybe in my 60s now, but in any event, ladies and gentlemen, it's just a number. It's just a number. You are as old and as young as you feel. And I'm actually healthier now than I was when I was in my 30s and 40s. But funny how that works. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know everything that you need to know so that you can be successful. And because I'm now at this stage where I freely give you everything I've ever learned, everything I've ever accomplished, everything I ever achieved, so that you can learn from my mistakes. I give it to you right here in the classroom. Right? We talk about court cases, we talk about events, we talk about the good times and the bad times, and what you should and shouldn't do so that you don't make the same mistakes that I've made. And I've made plenty of them, ladies and gentlemen. That's part of the learning curve. This is why I said you really can't look in the past, because you had to make these mistakes. You ever see somebody say, if I knew then what I know now? It doesn't work that way. Today is today. Today is the day. What do you want to do? And you need to stop being an overthinker. You need to stop spending all that time in your own brain, all right? Because that's another problem. You overthink, you overthink, you overthink. Let me give you an example, ladies and gentlemen. You meet the love of your life, and all your problems go away in that very beginning of that relationship where you meet the love of your life. Everything that you thought was a problem doesn't even exist anymore, because in this new time that you are with the new love of your life, this new journey that you're on, everything kind of dissolves. But then after being in the relationship for a little bit, what do? You start thinking and thinking. And what happens? You go back to worry, stress. What's going to happen? All right. And you keep overthinking things and you miss out on the day. You miss out on the relationship. You miss out. But notice when you first started the relationship, none of that mattered. all that was aside and you were very, very happy. You just was enjoying each day until you started thinking again. And this is another thing that you have to worry about, ladies and gentlemen, that if you can't control your own thought process, it will take over on you. And all you're going to do is add stress and dilemma to your life. And you're going to get the saggy eyes, the black circles. You're not going to be sleeping well, and you're not eating. You're getting old. You're developing diseases, and this is what happens. And it all starts right here. It all starts right here. Oh, I'm not good at math. I'm not good at testing. Right away, these are all negative factors that will hold you back, ladies and gentlemen. So there's a lot of lessons from the early pyramids to what a caveman really was. You know what a caveman was, ladies and gentlemen? It wasn't the beginning of society, not at all. It was the surviving society for the great waves that took over. Those who did survive went underground, went in the caves, and they were able to survive many disasters that this planet has gone through in the past. Very few really understand the history of this planet and how many civilizations have come and gone. All right, and where we are today. All right, so again, these are a lot of things that we don't understand. But if you keep thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, all you're going to have is your thoughts. All you're going to have is stress. And it doesn't matter how much stress you bring in to yourself, it's not going to change anything. It's not going to change anything. So you have to understand how this works, ladies and gentlemen. Life is a very good thing. Really, all we have is today. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, and we can't really look at the past. That's where our mistakes were made. So understand that you cannot rely on anybody or anything but yourself. You got to be smart enough to know that you have to have more than one source of income coming in, ladies and gentlemen. And having that real estate license is a very smart play because you got a product that's never going to go out of style. These things, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to go out of style. They're going to need to be updated. Hell, they might not even exist soon. All right. But refuge, roof over our head, someplace to live is always going to exist, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what. So that's something that you have to keep in mind, that no matter what happens with the economy, no matter what happens with the world, we still need shelter, something over our head, no matter what. So this is a very good avenue to pursue. Education is also a very good avenue to pursue. And having the right person, I'm sure you've gone through many classes, had many instructors that put you to sleep. Or some of them weren't even teaching the subject that you thought they were supposed to be teaching. It's just the way it is, ladies and gentlemen. Not everybody's made to be an instructor. Not everybody's made to be a teacher. And sometimes you find out that you are good at it when you had no clue that you might even be good at it. This fell in my lap. That's the way life is, ladies and gentlemen. I did not set out when I started in the real estate business to have a school, to be an instructor. As a matter of fact, I rebelled against it. Many things. I didn't want to be a broker of record ever again. I went through that stage, but here I am successfully. I never thought that I was going to make money being an instructor or a teacher. I thought there was no money made in that. And as I said, there is a way to make money in it, but it really is more of a labor of love. And if you enjoy what you are doing, that really is paramount. I'm never hurting, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not rich. Don't get me wrong. You know, I don't drive the Bentleys or anything like that. And I don't go around bragging that I do. I don't. But I live a nice, very comfortable life. I'm happy. I love my wife. And I live within my means. And so I got no complaints. If I was to end today, tomorrow, I would have no complaints. And my ambition is still there. Did I achieve everything I wanted to achieve? Not yet. My journey's still going, and I hope to live another 30, 40, 50 years. Not to be greedy, but I'll take it, as long as I can be healthy. But as long as I don't lose my ambition, my desire, that is what I fear the most. That I have no ambition, no desire to do anything. That is something that I once in a while contemplate. And my biggest hurdle is procrastination. And there's a reason for it. That's another mechanism. I can spend another hour talking about why and what happens with procrastination. Even though I have a fond understanding of what procrastination is and what causes it and how it works, I still allow it sometimes to work. I still allow it, and sometimes I just use it as an excuse not to do something. But I always get everything done. But procrastination is one of my Achilles heels, as it is with most. It's not a form of laziness. It has nothing to do with laziness, unless you're just a lazy person. Then you use procrastination as a reason to be lazy. But procrastination doesn't really have anything to do with laziness at all. It is a mechanism that is triggered, and so you can control it, just like just about everything else in your life. You can control it if you decide that you want to. But again, as I said, we're not perfect, and understand that if you have ambitions and desires to do better for yourself and to do better for your family and to have more of a security blanket in life, then having this real estate license, ladies and gentlemen, is a smart play. So understand companies closing. I don't know what's going to happen with the commercial real estate. It's not going to die forever. And just like e-commerce, Zoom, it's a thing now, just like social media, but it won't last forever. The Inquirer, the Bulletin, ABC, NBC, CBS, these things used to be the thing. Now they're kind of a past. Social media will come and go, ladies and gentlemen. All these things, coffee of different name brands, peanut butter, different name brands. Well, those companies will come and go. But the products like coffee and peanut butter, they'll always be around. We can always make these things ourselves. But will the companies that try to profit from them continue? Not with bad management. And you're starting to see bad management and what's happening with bad management. And so the world doesn't come to an end, ladies and gentlemen. You just need to make sure that you can ride the waves because, as I said, the tide comes in, the tide goes out. The tide comes in, the tide goes out. History repeats itself, but the world doesn't come to an end. Nothing you can do about a nuclear explosion, but it wouldn't be the first time we had nuclear explosion. All right. We had Chernobyl, we had India, we had several nuclear explosions throughout our history. Is the world still here? Everything's still fine. So understand, ladies and gentlemen, as long as you got the ambition and the smarts to not have all your eggs in one basket, then my job is to teach you real estate and how to make money with that real estate license, how to run a business, and how to have a better security blanket. And I'm happy to do it. So that's where we are right now, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, for the very first savings, if you sign up for my May 9th class, then you're going to have a $50 savings right off the bat. So instead of it being $299 for the first part of the class, it's only going to be $249. If you have the smarts to come into my class, I'm going to show you how to save another $50 right off the bat, plus more, if you are smart enough to invest in yourself. So understand when I tell you my class is $598, and you're like, well, there's online courses out there for $300, $400. Well, guess what? You don't have an instructor. You've got a PDF. You've got to teach yourself a new language called real estate. And if you can't teach yourself this new language, then that online course, it might be cheaper, but is it better? Or are you going to get more out of it? I already know the statistics of that, ladies and gentlemen. And if you take these 3-week classes that are out there, ladies and gentlemen, Well, what they try to do is cram 75 hours into a 3-week class, and your brain can't absorb a 6 and 8 hour day in the class trying to do this. It's not going to help. It's not going to work. And so those 3-week classes are basically designed just to kind of prep you and hope that you pass the exam. But you're not going to know anything after you pass the exam. You're not going to know which direction to go, how to run a business, what you should and shouldn't do, how to interview a broker, which direction you go. So let me give you examples, ladies and gentlemen. There are many avenues of real estate. Once you get this real estate license, you don't have to just work for a brokerage. You can go to work for a Fortune 500 company, as long as they're still around. Give you an example, Walmart, Pep Boys, McDonald's franchises, they're all in the real estate business, ladies and gentlemen. As a matter of fact, McDonald's, there's a movie with Ray Kroc that talks about McDonald's. And once McDonald's realized they were not in the franchise business, once Ray Kroc realized he was in the real estate business, that is how McDonald's took off to be the number one. And you'll understand, ladies and gentlemen, with so many companies out there, how they became the number one company out there. If you just understand the history of how these companies, especially in the food industry, but McDonald's, once they realized they weren't in the franchise business, they were in the real estate business, they took off and they never looked back. And that's what you need to understand. So you can go to work for a brokerage. You can go to work for a Fortune 500 company. You can go to work for franchises. They all have their own real estate department. Look at Wawa, ladies and gentlemen. All right. There's no shortage for Wawa. They're expanding. Yes, they're closing some shops down in high crime areas because Wawa's smart. Good management on Wawa's part. And Southern Corporation, same. Well, maybe not. But in any event, Wawa, very good management, ladies and gentlemen, and they're expanding all up and down the coast and throughout the United States. They're certainly looking for real estate agents to help them spot new locations and so forth. Fortune 500 companies also understand this, ladies and gentlemen. Developers are always looking for real estate agents because the developers can build and they can hold, but they can't sell without a real estate license. So they're always looking for a licensed real estate agent. Developers, property management companies, ladies and gentlemen, no shortage of work there. So if you would like to have a salary plus commission, well, that real estate license is the only way that you're going to get into property management, property leasing. Because the minute you take a lease and the minute you take a security deposit for any property that's not yours, you better have a real estate license. And you're going to need to know what that lease has to say by Pennsylvania law, quiet enjoyment. You're going to have to understand how to handle the security deposit. You're going to have to understand the Landlord Tenant Act of 1951 and the laws, federal law, state law, local law, fair housing law, non-discrimination law, the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, FACTA, redlining, steering. All these things will apply in the real estate business so that you don't make mistakes that could cost you and get you into the courtroom. And so real estate fundamentals deals with the laws, the federal law, and look what's happening on May 1st. And if you don't know what's happening on May 1st, this would be something that you would have to understand. And the reason that you got to do a continuing education class, all right, is the 40-year mortgage coming back. Is interest rates going up or down? What dictates a property? Does interest rate have anything to do with the value of a property? No, not really. It might have it might affect your ability to buy a property, but it doesn't really affect the value of the property. What affects the value of the property? Supply and demand. What is supply and demand? Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, is an excellent question. Because if you don't understand supply and demand, I don't care what business you're in. I don't care what business you're in. If you don't understand supply and demand, you're doomed to fail. Absolutely doomed to fail. So we will absolutely talk about supply and demand. And supply and demand in the real estate business is easy, ladies and gentlemen. Supply is all the available properties for sale at a current situation, at current time. And demand is all those who want to buy it. So if we have more buyers than we have seller, that is going to dictate the price of the property. Since there are so many people who want to buy the property, prices are going to go up. Doesn't matter what the interest rate is. It comes down to demand. How many want to buy it? And since we have an influx of population for many reasons, most of the influx is from people leaving other states because they're not happy with the crime rate. They're not happy with the tax situation. They're not happy with the schooling situation. And they'll leave those states to go to other states that may be more friendly to their form of life, because one size does not fit all. Your life doesn't mean it's the same as my life, all right? So states are different, and you have a lot of gravitational pull to different states because they're tax friendly. They might be more of a curriculum that you want for your child, and there might be less crime rate. You want safer areas. So that's why Pennsylvania, not Philadelphia, but Pennsylvania is having a big influx of people coming into it from other states, because Pennsylvania is a little bit friendlier. Again, we're not talking about Philadelphia or Pittsburgh. We're talking about the state of Pennsylvania, not the cities. And the state is a little bit friendlier than some of the other states where people are leaving. So Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Florida is seeing a big influx of population, where other states are seeing a decrease in population. On the East Coast, take the West Coast. So you're seeing Washington, you're seeing California, you're seeing an exodus, and you're seeing people moving into Montana and Texas, where they're starting to build their population. Florida is a very tax-friendly, Tennessee, a tax-friendly state. And so understand, ladies and gentlemen, that it's just a gravitational pull. But Pennsylvania is doing very, very well. Even Philadelphia might not be the best managed city, but it's tough to manage a city with a big, high population. It's a numbers game. And so you can't blame one particular person like a mayor or the governor. But because there's more people, obviously there's going to be more problems. It's just a numbers game. And so it doesn't mean that they're not good at their job. And I'm being friendly here. They do have a sense of responsibility, or at least they should, but they should understand that it is a numbers game. It's easier to be a mayor in Levittown than a mayor in Philadelphia. It's a numbers game. So understand that it's just that, ladies and gentlemen, it is population. And what controls the price, the value of property is the demand. How many people who want to buy it, that will control the value of the property. I don't care if you're a manager at Rite Aid, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't understand supply and demand, your shelves may be empty when people come in for a product that you didn't know was selling off the shelves, and you didn't restock. And yet you're ordering things that are not selling. And so you got a warehouse filled in the back of products that are not selling. That is a manager who does not understand supply and demand. And so that Rite Aid's, in my particular situation, is going to hurt from bad management. So this is what I teach you in my class on how to run your real estate business and understand what it is that's causing the flow back and forth that we have. And so it's many lessons to be learned in this class, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm happy to share some of the knowledge that I have with you. And this is even why I do this 1 hour class. And as you can see, it's already been 50 minutes. So let's give you a few things that you need to learn, all right? Certain things like the difference between a deed and title, all right? Certain things like earnest money and deposit, all right? What is a deed? What is a title? Who are you representing? Do you represent the client? No, that would not be the correct answer. Do we sell property by title? No, we don't sell property by title. We sell vehicles by title. Do you know what the difference between a title and a deed is? Probably not, but you will need to know the difference between what a deed and a title is, and you'll learn that in my class. Do you know what the difference is between earnest money and deposit? And is there any such thing as earnest money deposit? All right, they are two separate things, and there is no such thing as EMD or earnest money deposit. There's earnest money and there's deposit. All right, what's the difference between an amendment and an addendum? All right, and so forth. So what is a contingency? Right, so all these things you're not going to learn in an hour class. What this is designed to do is to introduce myself, to show you who I am, my speed of talk, the way that I articulate and project my voice. Am I the instructor for you? So that's basically why I do this 1 hour class, to introduce myself to you, not so much my name, but character and style, to see if I fit your ability to learn. And so that's why I do this class every Monday, ladies and gentlemen. And I give lots of tidbits in it. Today, I really want to talk about the future, the economy, how companies are closing, how businesses are laying off, and to make you understand that you better be a little bit more prepped, because it doesn't matter how good of an employee you are, no matter how valuable you think you are. Look what happened to Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson today. All right, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Here today, gone tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. You better have a backup plan. You better have something so that you don't have to worry about companies closing their doors, going out of business, layoffs. You don't want to have to be in that position where you need to worry about that. This is a smart play to get that real estate license. Now you're licensed by the state. It's pretty cool to be known as a licensed professional. It's pretty cool to have that achievement under your belt, that you are a licensed professional in the state of Pennsylvania. And in this situation, you're a licensed real estate professional. I think that's pretty sharp myself, to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, to be known as a real estate agent. What's the difference between a real estate agent and a realtor? All right, big difference. And you're not allowed to call yourself a realtor, and it's not real luck tour, it's realtor. And we'll talk about that. What is the difference? What can you do? What can't you do? And so forth. So that's what this class is really about. It's not an investment class. I'll teach you many investments you probably never even heard of, using owner financing, lease to purchase, rent to buy, first right of refusal, trust. What's the difference between an LLC, a corporation, a trust? We're going to deal with all these things that you need to understand. Should you leave a will? Not when it comes to real estate, ladies and gentlemen. No, I wouldn't leave a will. I'd set up a trust. We'll talk about that. You'll see who actually gets the property you're leaving in a will. And we'll talk about government, ladies and gentlemen, and what happens during probate, and what happens if they consider you not of sound mind. What is sound mind? All right. So it's not a psychological or medical. It really does means, do you understand what you're signing? So we'll talk about that. What is sound mind? What are the two things that make it legal, contractual obligation, sound mind? 18 years of age and sound mind. But what is sound mind? All right. Does it mean you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? I don't know. What is that? Is that a marketing slogan, or is it an insult? All right. Or is it just a comical question? See, everything is open for interpretation, and knowing what to say and how to say it is going to be just as important as knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. So these are the things, lots of things that you're going to be learning in class. Do you own the air above your property? Do you own the ground underneath your property? You'll be surprised to find the answers. You might think that you just own the building. What is the building called? Why is it called an improvement? What's the difference between the value of your property and the value of your land? What's a co-insurance clause? All right. So there is so much to learn in a 75-hour class, ladies and gentlemen, class, not class, a class, 75-hour class. And the reason that people keep coming back to my class is for confidence. They keep learning because you can't help but learn. At least with me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not tired of teaching. I'm not bored. I don't get stressed about it. I don't say, oh, I'm not looking forward to this. I don't do that. All right. I understand the mechanisms and how to control the mechanism so that today is a great day. That's all I care about is today. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, and I don't really much care about yesterday. It's done. It's gone. All I care about is today. How can I make today a great day? Not just for me. I made several of my clients, several of my agents, and several of my students today very happy. All right. A lot was accomplished today, and it's only going on 7 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. There's still a lot more work for me to get done today before I go to bed around 2 in the morning. I still got a ton more work to do, work that I'm absolutely looking forward to, like marketing, like designing, working about next week's class and the class that starts on May 9th. So my next class, ladies and gentlemen, May 9th. And I'm only running 2 classes this year. May 9th will be my next class. And then after that, September will be my last class this year. All right. And so that's all I'm doing. Again, as I said, it's a labor of love. You're lucky enough to come to my class. You will have the blessings and the savings that I'm going to bestow upon you. So May 9th, I offer 2 classes. I have a morning class, which is 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It's a 4-hour day, but it's really 3.5 hours because we take a half-hour break. So 9 to 1, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for 4 weeks for real estate fundamentals, and then 4 weeks for real estate practice. So let me give this to you right now so that you understand this, ladies and gentlemen. So real estate fundamentals, 4 weeks, May 9th to June 1st will be the first part of this class, 4 weeks. The $299, or for you in this class, $249. And then the second class, which is real estate practice, which deals with the contracts and representing client, will be June 6th to June 29th. So the class is May 9th until June 29th. It's an 8-week class. All right. Really 9 because we kind of take a week off in between the 2 classes, but you'll see that I also give you a lot of other things. So I'm going to be teaching things that no other school is going to teach you. And I'm going to have special classes that you don't even know about until you actually come into my class. And then you get to see all these extra benefits that I'm going to be giving you that I don't even talk about. I don't even market them because I want you to come to this class because it's something that you want to do. I don't want to try to entice you so much to come into the class that you really just came into the class for some of the benefits that I was offering. And so I try to make sure that you're coming into the class because it's something that you want to do. And if that is true, then you're going to learn. It's all going to work out well. So I have a morning class, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I also offer an evening class, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday as well. Same 3 days. So 3 days a week, they go very, very quickly. And before you know it, the 8 weeks is done and off you go to take the state exam. And like I said, I receive 3 calls a day, 3 texts actually, from agents who passed their exam. And one who needs to do again, take the exam over. We'll find out when you don't pass the exam, some of your transcripts. Let's see where you're weak at, what happened. And then we'll get you strengthened that you can go back and take the exam and pass it the next time around. So that's one thing. You don't just pay me and then leave and that's it. You never have contact with me again. It doesn't really work that way with me. So morning class, 9 to 1, evening class, 6 to 10. It's an 8-week class. It's $299, but for you, and comment. Do me a favor, just do some comments. You know, it's nice to talk to people every now and then. $249 for you, ladies and gentlemen. So that's the special announcement that I'm going to be making. Plus, you're going to be saving a lot more money, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me on this. There ain't no way you're going to even come close to paying $598 for this class. But I want to make sure that you want to be in the class. And that's what I'm looking for. So I'll extend all these other discounts to you and benefits that you're going to have later on while you're in my class. And once you take my class, you never have to pay for it again. You are welcome to come back to my class over and over and over again. Anytime I run a class, free of charge. Also, notice that I'm running this by a Zoom platform. That's how the class is, ladies and gentlemen. The only difference is while you're in the class, you can actually talk to me. You can ask me questions. You can stop me. Can I ask you a question, Mark? Can I ask you a question, Mr. Instructor, Professor, whatever you want to call me? It doesn't matter. But don't call me hon, sweetheart, darling. Don't do any of that. All right. It has to remain professional. All right. So, but again, as I said, we got to keep it on a professional level. So you can call me Warren. You can call me Mr. Nelson. You can call me Professor, Instructor, whatever you want to do. But that's the line we have to draw in the sand. We can't get too friendly with that. So keep that in mind as we go along, ladies and gentlemen. Got to keep it professional. So you can call me anytime you want. Even after your class, my phone's always available. You can call me now. You can call me anytime you want with questions, and I'm usually always available, except for the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, when you know that I'm pretty much in the class. But when I'm not teaching the class, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Mondays, I'm teaching my agents. I'm out there in the field teaching. So it's 7 days a week for me teaching, and I love every minute of it. And anything I can do to advance you, that's my goal. So, ladies and gentlemen, May 9th is the next class. You have to be signed up by May 7th. I got to get you enrolled with Harrisburg. I got to get your attendance sheet. I got to get everything set up. So you've got to be enrolled by May 7th. I might still be able to get you into the class on May 8th. And even now and then, every day, maybe even that day the class starts. But do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen, help me out a little bit. I got to get everything registered with the state. This is not a get-rich investment class. This is a mandated class by the state in order to get your real estate license. So I have to have everything into the state and have you all set up for the class. Got to get your material to you. So as long as you're signed up by May 7th, we'll get you into the May 9th class. You only need $249. And if you don't got the $249, talk to me. Give me a call. Let me know. I'll work something out with you, ladies and gentlemen. It's not about the money. I just want to make sure that this is something that you want to do. Make the initiative, and I'll take you to that state exam and get you to pass that state exam and get you to be a licensed real estate professional. So I am Warren Nelson. Warren Nelson, basically chosen to be the instructor and the professor to teach you real estate. And I try to do a good job at it, ladies and gentlemen. And so I hope to be the one that teaches you how to become a real estate professional. I hope to see you in my class. And I'm looking forward to making you a licensed real estate professional this year. That is it. My time has come and gone. Call me. I got my Shopify account. Trying to stay away from the websites for a little bit. I have, what is it? Cash App, Zelle, different ways that you can make your payment arrangement. Shopify, but for your safetyness, I'm trying to kind of stay away from the WordPress websites for a little bit. With all the hacking that's going on, I want to try to make sure that everybody is protected. So those are my enrollments. This is my free class. I'm Warren Nelson. I hope to be the beginning of your future in real estate. Be safe, be healthy, be happy, God willing. I'll see you when I see you. Enjoy life, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you for coming to my free class. Enjoy.